I've been having a lot of thoughts about our basic relation, our basic interrelation to the very essence of experience, of being here, of presence, goes beyond me experiencing that. But there is, in the moment that we are calm and unstirred by our dissatisfaction and without the confusion of thoughts about that experience, when we are just in the presence of this, of what is called suchness, or another word I think is presence, beingness. But we are very, I am at least, very reluctant to go there because it's kind of the vulnerable spot. It's the spot of no defense. And there's a lot of defenses that are baked in over a lifetime that just, keep popping up and having their say about what this is. To just let this moment reveal itself, to discover it, to open our eyes to it, to pay attention to it, to note it, to know it, are very quiet actions. They're kind of an unpeeling rather than a, here I am. So the tendency is often to say, here I am, and we get wrapped up. I get wrapped up caught up in what I have to do, what I set out to do, what I said earlier that I was going to do, about things that are important. And the blessing of being a retired person is that there are fewer of those obligations, and that we get to see a little bit through those obligations and can put them aside. And when we put them aside, we appreciate the gift of time, this time of being here, of the incredible privilege of being a human being in this world. And that's so rare, and the moment is so rare that it becomes tempting to linger there a bit and to notice that relation that we all have to time, and how rushing past and rushing to somewhere is a common pitfall. And to stop the rushing and to come to rest in the attention, in the awareness, which is really the effort of no effort, of not striving for something else. Out of the connectedness, then spontaneously everything is already in place. I'm just curious. Curious. Um, inquisitive, inquiring about what is this? What is going on? What is this moment? What is here? If you forget doing that, then we're not there. We're not here. It's very, very amazing. There's in hospice, there's a man who has dementia and aphasia, which means he cannot speak, he cannot express. He has thoughts, but the words don't match. And this disconnection makes people kind of think that he is stupid or that he is not really, you can't have a conversation with him. So a lot of, he is wrapped in some kind of protective cloud. We're protected from having to really deal with him because he's not there. But the amazing thing is that he's very much there. And he's been there for 7 months. And usually people come into a hospice for maybe the last weeks of their life, but he's there every day, and people come and rush through his room and do certain things. And to just simply acknowledge the presence of him and that he is a being, a human, feeling, sensitive, thinking person is really all it takes to give him a little happiness. When he has his eyes closed and he hears somebody rushing by and says, "Hello, dear darling, here we do," and they're out of the room, and sometimes he opens his eyes and he raises his eyebrows and he says, "Bitch." And so, from that the ability to understand something is there. It's a very rich ground for me to kind of see life where it's at in all its, glory and also in all its phases of letting go, of abilities not being there, and it requires, in my mind, a way of meeting really what's there and not spending time missing what's not there. So it's a really good ground for practicing Dharma because all the mourning over what is not is suffering, and all this suffering, how much of it is in our mind? How much of it is in our mind? And it's to me, it's a place of joy. There's a wonderful aide who tells a story about where she grew up. And there's this, different classes, and people get wrapped up and caught up in their importance. And, there's kind of a hilly place. And she says, well, there's this very important man, and everybody kind of walks around him and says hello and does this. And he fell into a ditch. And so people went up to the ditch and said, "Give me your hand, give me your hand." And the man is in this ditch. And then somebody who knows him a little better comes by and says, "Take my hand." And he reaches out and he's pulled out. Now this is a story, and we take delight in our foolishness, our being wrapped up, our importance. and see that it's not really, that this is an illusion, that it's not really that important. But to just let nature talk nature and have fall be fall and winter be winter and not resist, I think is more challenging than it sounds. This whole business of this duality of me and that, me and, it's confusing. And it's the most natural thing also. It's the you have to excuse me, I'm not quite clear in how to express this, but we get so caught up in our beliefs, and one of the things that this hospice makes me think of is compassion. How we lack it and how freeing it is when we connect to it. And connecting, that connection, it's expressed in the representation of the Mahayana Bodhisattva of infinite compassion, Avalokiteshvara. When you see the statue with the 100 arms and hands with eyes in it, we as Westerners may think, oh, that's a little exotic, or, do I need another god or a goddess? You get a certain amount of papanka around it about, But the immediate connection of seeing, knowing, and action is how we wake up. Is that our knowingness will tell us what to do. And a lot of people in hospice are struggling when they come and see, and I mean people who work there, people who volunteer there, and they get caught up in the drama of it, the loss that is about to happen. And so the loss that is about to happen shadows over this moment. And so this moment is already lost, and the loss is already there. But there is this immediate connection, and that, and I think that people get caught in empathy and overwhelmed by it, and have an empathic overwhelm. Oh, this is too much, it's more than I can handle. And we have certain narratives around it. Like when you were talking 2 weeks ago, Lisa, and were mentioning how hard it was to see this person be homeless, and how overwhelming it was to see the people in Gaza and the famine and this paralysis in the world. And that, you come to this, we had this discussion about homelessness and what it means and how difficult it is to respond, because some people are choosing this, some people are also responsible, and we have all these kind of notions around it about what makes it difficult and complex, and we cut off the immediate response to that person who's in front of us and who may just need acknowledgement, just hello, and you can reach out your hand. And it's a momentary thing. Action is not a huge, I solved the world. Action is very little. It's just that motion of may you be well, may you be happy, may you be free of suffering. As an awareness, you are there. You're not a thing, you're not a problem, you're not a homeless person, you're a person. And skipping over that part, we cause ourselves distress because we cut ourselves off of this, what I believe is a boundless source of love. And I don't mean love that I give to you or you give to me. I mean just love as it is there, and as we unearth it, and as we discover it, and as we let it reveal itself. So it's a universal love that doesn't belong. It is our connectedness. It's our right. It's our birthright. We're born into it. We are it. We are from it. We are love. And in Buddhism, loving kindness, meaning we are the same kind. We are of this world. We are of this. We are human. So the amazing thing is that when we do step there, when we do go there and connect with this second, that makes us happy. That there is a joy that comes from that. And we're not burdened and with remorse. And we have sadness that passes through, but not sadness we need to hold on to. And I think we are living in a world with so much grief and violence and sadness and injustice, and that it is very easy to get caught in that and to be paralyzed by it. But paralysis is the inability to act. Paralysis is the imprisonment of ourselves. Because if we think we have everything to solve, that's a wonderful justification, but it's a thought process of incredible, rich delusion. We don't have that privilege. We cannot alter the world completely, but we can address this moment. So that's probably enough. Thank you.
Several things that caught my attention that I wanted to, I could say something about that or ask them. Can't remember one. Maybe it will come. So don't go away. I just moved along with it, leaving the rest of it behind.
Well, I found your comments about the end-of-life hospice care quite compelling, probably not exactly the right word, but I've had family members in hospice, so I'm aware of what it feels like to be there physically, and I think you're right on. That's there's something about a hospice care facility. Yeah, it's tough for sure, but there's something very immediate about it. The feeling of the immense awareness of the awareness of the loss, feeling of the past, not the past is no longer in the present. It really is in the past. There's no going back. There's no recovering that past memory, that past event that happened. It's just gone or about to go. That's as you say, I think, or as you were conveying, it's really a profound event. I remember just an experience like a week ago where I mentioned it last week when I was here. I think you were here, Frank, where I had a profound event occur to me where I was able to very clearly distinguish between the past and the present for a couple of days. And I mentioned this. It's here. Very hard to describe. Your talk about hospice reminded me of, again, so silly, contradictory. It reminded me of something that happened to me 20 plus years ago with my grandmother, who was, her mental capacities were fading. You're very lively New Yorker type, very opinionated, very chatty, always had an opinion about somebody, which, that's a very New York thing. And she grew up in depression, so she was tough. And I was taking care of her a little bit because my parents were away on vacation and my grandmother lived nearby and she needed some help. And so I was taking her to the doctor. We were driving over in Brantford to a respiratory guy. She had pneumonia or something wrong. So I drive her from her partner, the care department. She really wasn't all there. But boy, did we have a lovely drive in the car with her asking me this or that question. Really no more of that opinion stuff, just present in the moment, and a very quiet moment with her. And I think that, maybe it's tough when people are losing their capacities, but there is at least for me, at that moment, a presence that wasn't available to us because she had filled it up with all sorts of other stuff that we had for that brief time. She passed away a week or two later, something like that, from pneumonia. But I'm impressed that you can go there and do that, take real stuff from it. Real experiences, real moments of present, as distinguished from past. It's incredible. It's an admirable, incredible.
No, it's not admirable. This is what it is. All of the suffering that we see, and that's all in my opinions. The things I'm afraid of wounds, of seeing a person in respiratory distress, all the images, the images about them are what is difficult. And I'm afraid I don't want to be confronted with this, and I don't want to be confronted with that. That is difficult.
Yeah.
Because but they are opinions. They are not what's there really. What is there really is a person who's trying to grab your hand, or who is who needs something, and that makes the encounter joyful. And I say joyful, I think not just for me, but also for that person. In that moment, there's something of relief or something of uh, respite. But the opinions that we have, the ideas that we have about things, is what makes it difficult. Our opinion about death, or our fears about death, are the terror, not the death. I, I just want to say that I don't want to have any credit for it.
Oh,
Because
sorry,
it's like
I didn't mean to imply. I simply meant to say that it was valuable for me to hear.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I don't want to put too many stamps on it. I apologize.
No, because, when I started doing it, I was involved with, oh, I'm doing a good deed here. And it's like, okay, let's just drop that.
Yeah, I apologize if that's
No.
what came across. I really am just saying I enjoy hearing about it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
All this stuff is what my life is now. That's the thing. I mean, I'm not in hospice, but I don't know when I made the turn or took the step or whatever, but it's very clear to me. I mean, I guess I've known since I was 37 years old that I was going to die, but now I know that it will be within a certain time frame. I mean, the time frame isn't tight, but I mean, I know pretty much what my chances are if nothing particular happens. I don't know. I mean, I don't only think about it like, when people are talking about old age, sickness, and death, which is one of our favorite Buddhist terms. Like my life is difficult sometimes. I don't get to do what I want a lot of the time. I have to, drive my husband around. I get to take care of him. And he gets frailer, but he's very strong in his essence. So there's always that kind of push and pull. I just see the road as going down the hill. That's all, which I've never really thought of before. I didn't have a timeline for myself. Now I have one. I just don't know exactly what it is. I mean, I can't read it, but I see it. And what can I say about it? It's all right. I mean, I don't look forward to being dead, but when I think I have accepted the inevitability of it. And to just illustrate that, on Tuesday, Jordan and I went up to Meadow Ridge, which is a continuing care, very luxurious retirement place, and we were invited to go and look at it. I knew people there. Almost my entire family is rehabbed there at one time or another, so I've even wandered around it. But we went, and I guess when we came away from it, it was very nice. It was peculiar, and one thing was that when they were bringing us the food, it was this luncheon thing, and people were standing around at the table where I was and just admiring her. And suddenly the smell of death was so intense. It was as if someone had walked into a dead body and brought it in on their shoes or something like that. I looked around at other people, nobody reacted. I mean, I thought, I can't imagine what this is. And then when they finished with the plates and they went away, the smell went away.
Mm.
And I didn't, it was, I could think, how is it possible that people are just sitting? So of course I just sat there, which is what they would all do. They would say, how is this possible that we'll just be sitting here, So it was very strange. And when I told my daughter about it, she said, oh, and then later on when we were going home, I mean, it's very expensive. It's not at all the sort of thing that I think I would or want to do. But, I looked at it because Jordan needs more help than I can give him. And so I thought, well, let's look and see what it's like at one of these places. So, although when we got home, I was talking to Jordan how I felt about it, and I said, well, I looked around at all the people, and one of the first things I thought was, I am so much younger than these people. Now, I'm 83, so I know I am not a young person.
I don't think that you're the only one who's ever had that.
I looked at these people, and I went, oh my God, and they were, a lot of them were very vigorous, but most of the people who were coming to this luncheon hadn't been there before, so they were, kind of constrained and all sorts of things. What was I going to say? I was going to say that, so I was thinking about, and I thought, well, I don't know how many days or months or years that I have left, but I can tell you one thing, I'm not going to spend them here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be with these people. I couldn't bear it. And so it was over. I mean, it was over anyway before we went. And my daughter said, well, you did smell death there. That would be quite she made it into sort of a metaphor rather than, that it was, I believe, an actual thing that happened. So, I just, the end of life is a weird thing, it's just long, it feels prolonged, but definitely there's an end to it. And it's just really, it's a good thing because it's liberating. Like you said, a lot of this stuff is liberating. No worries. You know how it's going to end.
Well, it's definitely, if there is suffering at the end, if there's physical suffering or mental suffering, it brings peace. But then we who are family or survivors don't feel that peace.
Oh, I don't know.
We may feel really lost and in deep grief and everything. But yeah, I think that if we can free up ideas around it, if we can, maybe the smells aren't as penetrating then.
It was just a moment.
I can imagine because you're in that place and you're contemplating it, and so food will smell that way.
No, this was not an invention. This was not a psychological event. This was real. I know what it smells like when the dogs find a carcass and they roll in it.
I have had mice in my walls.
What?
I've had mice in my walls.
It's infinitely worse than that. We have had mice in the walls. It is so pungent that it makes your eyes water. And the dogs are like, it's why people don't want to be around people that are dying. I don't know. I mean, it has nothing to do with dying. It has to be being dead long enough that everything is breaking down, and that's not part of hospice. Thank goodness. So I don't know. But I kept thinking about it. God, I can't remember what it was you said, and I just went, oh yeah. Thank you, Frank. It was
thank you.
A fun talk.
Good. I'm glad. It is so joyful, actually, for me.
Yeah.
So
because it's really here.
Yeah. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
Have a great trip.
Thank you, Abby. I'm gonna go on vacation now. I'm gonna go to Italy. So a lot of hardship ahead for me.